Well, last week we covered the fact they got into the manger or the cave, the stable, whatever you want to call it. But it was basically a very lowly birthplace, and that's another thing that had been predicted in various books of the Bible, that it would be a rather uncomfortable birth, and he would rise to great stature, and that all came true. You know, isn't it amazing how we have these self-fulfilling prophecies that if you're told you're going to be something, do something, and believe it, good or bad, why, it usually comes true, doesn't it? Well, he had to be special. And we're back to that star over the stable there. Well, how long do you think that took those three wise men to travel to where that little boy was? And do you think they stayed in the manger, in the stable all that time, waiting for the worshipers with gifts and recognition to come? That really doesn't make sense, does it? Well, wait. As they would say, what doesn't have to make sense? It's true. Well, you'll decide whether it's true or not when you hear the whole story. Even if he moved around, there could have been this bright star that followed him. But have you ever looked up in the sky, and have you ever seen a star close enough that it would change when you moved or would be where you are? But I have seen bright lights, and some of you have too. Now, I'm not saying that there are such things as UFOs or outer space beings, or even for that matter that the angels were from outer space, but it's a good thing to think about. I find it very interesting that every time it's quoted that the angels come to visit man, the first thing they say is, "Fear not." Well, it must be not because they had these beautiful feathered wings and played harps and looked very becoming and gorgeous and perfectly shaped and all that. No, I would say it was probably because they were a frightening apparition. They looked different, and they came with different things, and maybe a lot of noise. Well, come to think of it, it did say in Isaiah about how noisy they were and what were preceding them. Well, that could have been. And it could be that maybe some superior wisdom really thought about us and said, you know, we got to help those poor slobs. They need the truth, and they need to know about loving each other, and they need to know about helping each other. And maybe if we give them something, we've read their stories, we've heard what they say, and we know what they expect. Let's see if we can fulfill that for them. And maybe, and this will be next week, maybe there will be some kind of special education for the little guy, and it'll help him in what he's doing. Doesn't make any difference because the wise men came. Here's another one of those wonderful myths. You hear about three wise men. Well, there's no such thing anywhere in the book, the Holy Book, that says it was three wise men. What it does say is they brought three basic gifts: frankincense, incense, and myrrh. Myrrh being a healing balm, very good for the mama and the baby. And the frankincense and myrrh, herbs and things that could help with the sanitary and the aromas. But it doesn't really matter. There was also gold that was given there too. Think about that. And that's where we want to leave off on all this. We want to make you understand that man named it three somewhere along the line. And that's the way we've been thinking about it. Open your mind up to bigger and better things. It could have been an entourage. Had to be. Nobody ever traveled alone in those days. Too dangerous. Kind of like it is today. But, you know, they even visited old King Herod. Remember, and he says, hey, when you find that baby, let me know. Why? Because Herod had heard the prediction that within the last 3 years, and there's a key for you, 3 years maybe it took those wise men to get there, maybe. And that's a long time for that star to stay up there shining. Well, maybe it wasn't a star. Maybe it was a spaceship that shined out. There's something to think about. Don't want to trick you into thinking about anything. I just want you to think for yourself. figure out what it was, and be ready for next week. God bless you, and thank you for letting me share once again a little that I know, very little that I know. Thank you.